material affinity does not look well if devoid of a conception of the infallible God. What then is the use of fruitive activities which are naturally painful from the very beginning and transient by nature if they are not utilized for the devotional service of the Lord? Purport: as referred to above, not only ordinary literatures devoid of the transcendental glorification of the Lord are condemned, but also Vedic literatures and speculation on the subject of impersonal Brahman when they are devoid of devotional service. When speculation on the impersonal Brahman is condemned on the above ground, then what to speak of ordinary fruitive work which is not meant to fulfill the aim of devotional service? Such speculative knowledge and fruitive work cannot lead one to the goal of life. Fruitive work, in which almost all people in general are engaged, is always painful either in the beginning or at the end. It can be fruitful only when made subservient to the devotional service of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita also it is confirmed that the result of such fruitive work may be offered for the service of the Lord, otherwise it leads to material bondage. The bona fide enjoyer of the fruitive work is the personality of Godhead, and thus when it is engaged for the sense gratification of the living beings, it becomes an acute source of trouble. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shrunivadi Pashyate Deshatadine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasani Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Knowledge of self-realization, even though free from all material affinity, does not look well if devoid of a conception of the infallible God. What then is the use of fruitive activities which are naturally painful from the very beginning and transient by nature if they are not utilized for the devotional service of the Lord? Narad Muni is continuing to explain to Vyasadeva about principles of self-realization, principles of religion. If we are going to practice a religious system, first we have to understand what is religion. Prabhupada has said that if we were to read all his books, it's like doing PhD in religion. Not only we'll get religious principle, but we'll understand what is religion. People don't have a conception. People think, for example, religion is meant for satisfying the material sense gratification. That I should do so many different activities, so I get a result by which I can enjoy. Actually, that is called pravritti marg, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. When we dedicate our life to enjoying this world. So we try to do that, and then we practice dharma to get artha. We practice dharma so we can get artha. With that artha, we engage in kama. Dharma, artha, kama. And after some time, when we become fed up of material life, because actually there is no enjoyment, then we desire moksha. Moksha means just coming out of the material sphere. So one should understand religion. Prabhupada explains what is religion. He says, to know God and to love Him. And within that comes service. If you love someone, you will serve them. Prabhupada gives an analogy, because even we sometimes come across people, we are trying to distribute books, and they say that, oh, we know Krishna, we love Krishna, see, his name is Krishna, my son, and see our deity is Krishna. Okay, buy a book, no. Come for Janmashtami, no. Give a donation, no. So Prabhupada gives an analogy to explain this point. He said, you might have heard it many times, that the husband comes home, tells the wife, where is the dinner? She says, I love you, okay. Now where is dinner? I'm hungry. But I love you so much. Okay, very good. Where's the dinner? I'm hungry. I love you. Okay, where's the dinner? I'm hungry. There's no dinner. Then what love is that? You should have prepared something. So Prabhupada gives this analogy to explain that love means service. Do something, we'll serve God. we'll engage in propagating his glories, we'll engage in his mission, at least, or we'll engage in serving him, doing some puja, something. So that is love. So religion means knowing God and learning to love him. This is religion. There are big misconceptions of religion. And so, actually, practically speaking, we can't even discuss religion with people because they don't know what's religion. It's a different level completely. I was in a certain country in Africa distributing books, and I met one person, and we were debating, and then he was saying that no, he was from a certain religion. He said, this is going to conquer everything. We are going to dominate everything. I said that religion is to awaken love of God. Did you awaken love of God? No one can stand in our path. I said, listen, let me ask you one question. What is your definition of religion? He said, to conquer. I said, we cannot discuss anything, me and you, because I am trying to establish that this is topmost religion because it awakens love of God. You are saying that is because it's going to conquer and it's able to conquer. I thought better you join army. You join the army, then you can, that is the function of your mood. But religion is connecting to God. So now, with that in mind, we have to study what is religion, because we'll miss the goal, we'll miss it. You have to understand, even we had to understand what is religion. Awakening love of God and knowing God. Do we know God? Who is God? And whatever we are following, does it give details of God? If we do not know about God, then how will we serve him? What are you going to serve? Who are you serving? The energy, the light. Serve the light. Or who we are going to glorify? In one particular religion, they all are saying that glorify God, praise be to God, praise. Okay, praise him. What will you praise? In the book it's there, God. Do you know his form? Do you know his lila? Do you know his gun? Do you know his rupa? I said that, form, guna, rupa, nama. Do you know about his name? They don't have any knowledge. Now praise be to God. Okay, what will you praise? What are you praising? But good, they have idea. Good, they have that idea to praise, and they're telling others to praise. But that's the proper idea. We have to praise God. But you don't know about him. What will you praise? Now he has left literature. We have to read those literatures. Then we'll understand this is God. Then we'll awaken desire to come to him. Here, there's a word being used, Naishkarmyam. Naishkarmyam. Now, if you come to higher principles of religion, even before you reach bhakti, bhakti is highest, because when we reach perfection, we're going to do bhakti. Now, you start doing that here, then we practice. Only then can you enter Goloka. We practically cannot enter Goloka or Vaikuntha unless we do bhakti and we understand what is bhakti. Therefore, even Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains that if we don't understand philosophy, even we cannot be liberated. We have to understand, if we get a wrong idea, liberation is not possible. Like if you think, I'll do my bhakti, Krishna will give the result. He must. I've done it. I chanted. He must give. So that is, now you are confusing that. God has to do what you want. So then that is not proper understanding. So how can we enter Goloka with that mind? So it's a proper understanding. And now here in the verse, because Narad Muni in chapter 5, there are some verses he speaks which very explain some subtle points which will about dharma and about self-realization, which is very, these characteristics of Srimad Bhagavatam, very minute detail it explains about dharma. Practicing it, dharma means eternal. We are eternal servants of God, we have to serve him. So here it's speaking about Naishkarmyam. Naishkarmyam. This again is a topic which again in lower principles of religion they will not understand. What is it? But Naishkarmyam, it's explained even in Bhagavatam earlier in verse in chapter 2 text 7, first canto. Naishkarmyam, Prabhupada explains it that it means not undertaking activities that will produce good or bad effects. We understand what is karma. Karma means we do action, prescribed action, which is according to Varna and Ashram, a prescribed action. So we do that, and if we do that, that is auspicious for us because we get Gyan and Vairagya gradually, maybe over many lifetimes. Just by doing your karma, you can advance. and you can be peaceful, and you can get your material necessities. What is that verse? That yajna karma samudbhava. Yajna bhavati parjanyo yajna karma samudbhava. Rain comes. Yeah, that is anad bhavanti bhutani parjanya anasambhava. That this body subsists on grains. I need grains to keep this body alive. So grains, how will grain come? Grain will not come from the factory. Grain will not come from the supermarket, actually. It comes from the ground, from the soil and the rain. Rain has to be there. Okay, soil is everywhere. But now problem is the rain. How will that come? It may come, it may not come. So rain comes when we do yajna. Yajna means when we serve Vishnu, do activity for Vishnu. And yajna is born of prescribed duty when you do your karma. Prescribed according to your varna and ashram, when you do that activity, that is called yajna. And that is karma. So from karma, that is a form of yajna that I'm serving. I'm doing my duty. Why? Not for me, for God. As for me, I just want to sit and do nothing. I want to do so many things. That is the propensity of this body. It's attracted to illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication. The body is attracted to that. But if you deny it, that is yajna. By nature, we want to do so many things, eat so many things. But if we say, no, I'm going to follow this, this is yajna. You're doing it for Vishnu, and he's realizing. So the point is made in that verse that simply to eat food, you have to do yajna. Even just to survive in this world, because that is a lower principle. Higher principle is God. It's our duty to worship God. And higher than that is we are worshipping Krishna because he's such an amazing personality, such an amazing character. No envy, he's my well-wisher. He's the object of love. But now lower principle is someone doesn't understand all that. Okay, you understand food. Yes, food. You have to eat. Yes. If you will not eat, if you don't do your work. Okay, I'll do it. Simple. Logic. So, now that is karma. Now there's something called naishkarma. Naishkarma, because when I do karma, I'll get a good or bad result. If I do vikarma, bad result. If I do karma, prescribed duty, I get good result. But now there's something called naishkarma. Naishkarma means I do a certain work for which there is no result. Basically, akarma. I'll do this work, and this is a higher form of karma. This is the art of living. How to live and work so that I don't get bound up. Naishkarma. So that idea is there of Naishkarma. And Vyasadeva had explained Naishkarma in Upanishads. Don't look for result in your actions. Don't look for results. Do the action, don't think about result. That Upanishad explained. But this can be explained in two ways. It can be in form of bhakti or impersonalist. So he explained it in terms of impersonalism. Again, now this is higher principles of religion. Basic religion, worship God. Otherwise, you will go to hell. You will burn. Okay, I'll worship. I don't want to go to hell. Or second idea, worship God. It's your duty. Okay, it's my duty. I should do it. Higher than that, worship God because He is such an amazing personality. Anyway, we have to worship someone. We end up worshipping a dog, a cat, a military, country, family, society. Better worship God. Of course, you can also worship family and all this, and country and all that. But the main thing is that the central point should be worship of God. So now we are talking about Naishkarma. Naishkarma means I'm doing my work, but I'm not looking for any result. This is something very disturbing for someone who's very much addicted to sense gratification. So when people are jivas, conditioned souls, appear in this world who are not able to follow these principles, then lower forms of religion come for them, that I need some result, I cannot do. Okay, fine, because he has to engage in some religion so he can elevate. But then now Naishkarma, this is a very high concept as it is, because I'm doing my work, I'm doing my duty, it's supposed to be in Varnashram, but I'm not looking at the result. I'm not saying that I'll go to heaven, I'll enjoy, I'm just doing my work. because I have to do my work. Actually, so this talks about liberation, that I'll do my work because I get liberation from this material world. But again, no concept of God. So now, that was explained in the Vedas by Vyas. Now Narad Muni is telling him, Naishkarmam api achyuta bhava varjitam na shobhete jnanamalam niranjanam. That you explain Naishkarmam, you explain the concept of working without fruitive activity. This is a high level, it's good because it leads to liberation. Even Bhagavad Gita, the hint is given in chapter 2 that, yeah, can you shut the window? So, if one does actions, his karma, what is his karma? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra and Brahmachari, Vanaprastha. Because we had one person coming to us, I want to be a Brahmachari, okay, come for some time, we'll see. Come, I want to be Brahmachari, okay, take your time, come for some time. You have to learn principles. Finally, we had to, why you want to be Brahmachari? Because my job is to teach chess. So if I do Brahmacharya, then I'll get higher intellect, willpower and intelligence, then I can be a grandmaster, then I can increase my package. Okay, this is not the place for you. So many reasons one can be example of Brahmacharya. There are many reasons to practice the different varnas and ashramas, and not necessarily to come to God. So here it says, Achyuta bhava varjitam. If you practice self-realization, but your path does not explain about the concept of God, Achyuta, Vishnu, then he is saying, na shobhate. This is not good. Narad Muni is saying, na shobhate jnanam alam niranjanam. Even if that knowledge is free from sense gratification. You're explaining that we have to give up sense gratification. But you did not speak about God. You said give up sense gratification, do naish karma. Do karma without expecting any benefit. This is also very good. This is a very high level. People are thinking, I'm doing something, isme kya fayda hai? What is the benefit for me? Why shall I do it? That idea is there for material living entities. But this idea that I'll serve God without any result, it's scary for people. But he brought this concept of naish karma, very good, but he did not speak about God. He says, do your duty without a result. That's it. Get liberated. But now Narad Muni is saying, this is not good. It's not good. You're not speaking about Achyuta. You're not speaking about God, about Vishnu. You simply said, don't desire any result. Na shobhate. And then, of course, most of the Vedas are not about this. They're about karma kanda. So many different rituals you can do to get some certain result. How to kill your enemy, how to get money, how to become an emperor, how to get a beautiful wife or husband, how to, so many things, get good health. They tell you exactly which mantra to chant, which yajna, and then you get it. Now the idea is I work very hard for money, but before that was, just do that yajna, the particular yajna, or do that. But again, you cannot change your destiny. What is happening is you are taking karma from another, because you have that karma, it's not coming in this life, you're taking it. You cannot get beyond still. And if you, supposing you have some bad karma, you do yajna to remove it, but it will come later and it will come worse. This is the concept, idea. You cannot change destiny. The intelligent person will just live his destiny, and and just practice bhakti, and whatever destiny comes, let it come, and that life is the last one, and then you get tasmad brahma sokyam to anantam, then unlimited spiritual bliss and free from suffering. So now, most of the Vedas are not about even this idea of naish karma. What is it about? It's about karma kanda, that I do some action and I get a result. So he's saying two things in this verse. He's saying, first of all, it's not good that you mentioned self-realization and giving up fruitive activity, but you did not mention God. This is not a good idea. Second thing, and you mentioned a lot about karma. Even karma, this action of karma, It says here, Kuta Puna Shashad Abhadram. It's inauspicious. Why? Because when I do karma, I'll get a result. Puna Shashvad, and whatever result I get is temporary. And Abhadram Ishware. Na Charapitam Karma Yadapi Akaranam. That you taught people to do karma and get a result, and not to offer it to Krishna. Most of the Vedas speak on this, karma kand. They are not offering it to Vishnu. So it is abhadra, it is inauspicious, because I'm enjoying this work. Okay, then you enjoy the result, good or bad. But you'll be bound. Which verse in Bhagavad Gita says this? That karma binds us to this world. Trying to enjoy this world, we get bound up. Yajñarthat karmano anyatra loko ayam karma bandhana. If in my action, karma, I am looking for a result which I am planning, I'll take that result and enjoy it. This might seem too technical, I'll give an example. I am working for money, and then the money I will enjoy in different ways. So that karma will bind me, because I use this material world to for my enjoyment. This is wrong. Intrinsically, this is a crime. In Bhagavad Gita explains kama. This is defined as kama. And kama is, it says, mahashano, mahapapma. In chapter 3, it is the greatest sin to use material energy, Durga, for your enjoyment when it's meant to offer to Krishna. I am supposed to use all these material things for Krishna. So it's a greatest crime. So it says here that he's saying, Abhadra, you taught people this point. So he's saying, okay, to summarize, that anyway you taught about Naishkarm, giving up the karma results and simply serving Naishkarm. But that itself is not good. Then what to speak of, you taught people how to do karma to get fruitive results and enjoy. Actually, Vyas had to do that because people in this world came to enjoy separate from Krishna. They'll not come to Vedas if you tell them simply highest path. So they are brought in by these things. Okay, get some result, but do this karma. Okay, get some result. Get your some sense gratification, but do this yajna, do this vrata, and gradually they elevate it. So now here Narad Muni is saying this was not a good idea. And Prabhupada is explaining here, not only ordinary literatures devoid of transcendental glorification are condemned. You see, now before we are condemning, in the verse before this, what are we condemning? Tadvag visargo janataga viplavo. That we are saying that literature which is only about material things is no good. It's not good. It binds us. That is not good. But not only that, also literature, Vedic literature, and speculation on the subject of impersonal Brahman. That means literature which is now speaking about Brahman, that impersonal God. That is also condemned now. Previously it was just material, but now even spiritual but not personal nature of Krishna. This is also not there, because Bhagavatam is very specific. It's giving direct message. Supreme Personality of Godhead is a person. The Supreme is a person. He has qualities. We have to learn about those qualities, glorify them, and serve Him. So now, even such a high level of Naishkarm and impersonal, that's also being condemned. Everything will be condemned. Only undivided, unalloyed devotion, surrender to Krishna. And that was the Gaudiya Acharyas. They took this mood. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur fought with everyone, even his own sampradaya, if they did not follow 100%. And that's a very difficult thing to do. Everyone starts to hate you, not like you. But he didn't want that worldly friendship and brotherhood if it's not based on 100% love of Krishna. So even this is being condemned. So when speculation on the impersonal Brahman is condemned on the above ground, then what to speak of ordinary fruitive work? Simply worshipping Brahman without conception of God is condemned. Then what about fruitive work? That is also condemned. Fruitive work is in almost all people are engaged in. Here there's a word used. Fruitive work in which almost all people in general are engaged in is always painful. Now we cannot feel that pain. We don't understand. We think this is a normal life. People engaged in karma, they suffer more. Generally, anybody, the more we are attached to the body, the more we suffer. The more we become detached, the less we suffer. This is even true in the case of Varna, for example. Like it said that one in Sattva Gun, which is epitome of that is the Brahmana. Brahmana, they really not suffer much. They'll not suffer that much materially. Because they're not attached, they're not looking to increase their material, what's that word? That material sphere. You know, some people have, I'll do this, I'll get this, I'll get that, I'll do that, then I'll get this, and making material plans. So generally Brahmanas won't do that. They'll not. They'll just enough live the base, do the basics and engage in pathan, studying Shastra, teaching Shastra and Dharma, Naistikyam, Astikyam, religiosity. So generally they'll not suffer. Suffering comes more, the more we, there's a Prabhupada says, the more we try to embrace Maya, the more we suffer. And more we are away from Maya, then the suffering is less, generally speaking, materially. And why do we say that one should, before becoming a Vaishnava, Prabhupada said one should become a Brahmana. In other words, to do bhakti, one should come on Sattva Gun, live a Brahminical life. What does that mean? It means following regulation, rising early and seeing our food, what are we eating, and our association, our activities, what is in our mind. We have to keep our mind shocha, pure, clean mind, clean body. Why? Because when someone is in lower gun, they tend to suffer a lot. If you're suffering, you cannot do bhakti. In the Vedas, there are different yagyas. And the yagya, when the yagyas are done, every time you make an offering, swaha, Agni's consort is swaha, she is known as swaha. And another thing, shanti, 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 they'll chant at the end. Why? There we are praying, please give me peace. 3 times. Why? Adhyatmik klesh, Adi bhautik, and Adi daivik. You all know what that means. So we are praying to Krishna, please give me peace from Adhyatmik klesh, Adi bhautik klesh, and Adi daivik klesh. Why? So I can perform bhakti, so I can come to you. Because if I'm suffering, I cannot do. If I have a health problem, if I have a mental problem, if I have any kind of problem socially, anything, then it's hard to do bhakti. So when we come on Sattva Gun, when we learn to disconnect from material energy, you know, we may not be a brahmacharya sannyasi, but even a grahastha, even brahmana grahasthas, you see how they are. They'll not be making big material plans, but enough to survive, but their effort goes in self-realization. So, yeah, that's the reason that in Sattva Gun we are peaceful. Another reason is in Sattva Gun we get intelligence. We see things for what they are. We are able to see. One who is in Rajagun cannot actually see because he's clouded by material desires. Everything he's seeing, how will I enjoy this? How will I enjoy that? I can enjoy this like that. I can enjoy. Then you cannot see what is the fact of life. But in Sattva Gun, then we can see clearly, this is the fact, this is not. But of course, higher than Sattva Gun is spiritual. On spiritual level only you can actually really see. But at least to do bhakti, we have to come on this level. So now it's saying here that painful, is it coming in the Sanskrit? Yeah, abhadram, charpita karma, abhadram. It says abhadram, uncongenial, the word comes. But Srila Prabhupada giving the purport for us, very often in the Sanskrit translation, he'll put a purport because we don't know Sanskrit and the meaning won't come out. So he'll give the proper what we are meant to understand here. That abhadram here means painful. Karma is painful. So as I mentioned, that pain is less for a Brahmana. But still if we have some level of enjoyment, then there's pain in our life, there's suffering. It will come in different ways. So now, fruitive work, it says here, is painful. And how to make it less painful? It can be fruitful, beneficial, only if it's subservient to the devotional service of the Lord. Okay, chalo, I'm engaged in some kind of karma, but I'm using the result for Krishna. Karma means I'm attached to work. Karma yoga means I'm attached to the work, but the benefit of that work is going to Krishna. So I link it to Krishna. Higher than that is you do what Krishna wants, but I cannot do, okay, let me do what I want, but I'll give the result to Krishna. It's not on the level of bhakti, but it's good. And in beginning, when we start bhakti, we tell people this, we tell them like this, whatever you're doing, do for Krishna. Yad karoshi yadashnasi yad juhosi dadasi yad tapasyasi kauntaya tat kurushramad arpanam. Krishna says this in chapter 9. But people like to look at that verse. They like, whatever you do, do for God. That is there. Later he gives higher instructions. So it can be less painful if we use it for Krishna. Prabhupada is saying here that it can be fruitful only when made subservient to the devotional service of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita also it's confirmed that the result of such fruitive work may be offered for the service of the Lord. Otherwise it leads to material bondage. Karma bandhana. The bona fide enjoyer of fruitive work is the personality of Godhead. Krishna has supplied us this body, has supplied us the water, the soil, the land, so it should be given to Him. This is the law of nature. Not only nature, the law of creation is that the Supreme is the enjoyer. He is enjoyer. Even if we are not on that level, but the understanding is going to help us. Coming to that understanding that the supreme enjoyer is Krishna. He says, Bhokta Ram Yagya Tapasam. All Yagya, all Tapas, I am the enjoyer. Also he says, Prabhu, Aham Bhokta Cha Prabhu Revacha. How does it start? Aham is Sarva Yagyanam Bhokta Cha Prabhur Evacha. Any sacrifice one does, sacrifice means I'm doing some austerity. Example, somebody is working hard. That is also you're sacrificing. But for who? For me, for my country. No, it should be for Krishna. That sacrifice made me be for Krishna. Aham hi sarva yagyanam bhokta cha prabhur, and I am the master. Then he says, ye to na bhijanati tatvanat tat shavantite. And one who doesn't understand this, he'll fall from his position. Means he'll if someone lives a life of sense gratification, next life is a lower. If someone lives a life of higher sacrifice, next life is higher, even if we take aside bhakti. If someone lives a life of, how do you say, like tapasya, hard working or something, then next life will be a higher level, even materially. And this life, if someone is just enjoying senses, enjoying, then next life will be lower. This is the theory. So it says here, bona fide enjoy. Why is that? Because the bona fide enjoyer is Krishna. In a verse in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna is speaking about Kshar and Akshar, you know that verse. He's saying there are two types of living entities in the whole creation. Kshar and Akshar. That means those who are changing their body, which means everyone in this room, and those who are not changing their body. Prabhupada is Akshar. He doesn't change the body, but he just took a form to show. He came here. The pure devotees are not Akshar, are not Kshar. And everybody in Vaikuntha is Akshar. And some sect made a word out of that Akshar, called it Akshardham. There's no word like that. Technically it's there, but it's Akshar means one who does not change the body. So, what is the technical definition Prabhupada gave for that? In the word to word, Kshar, one who changes the body, is one who does not agree with the principle of creation. And Akshar, he agrees with the principle of creation. What is the principle of creation? everything to be used for Krishna. If we understand that and live according to that, we will not take birth again. If we don't, we'll take birth again, and taking birth, and we'll suffer. So, thus when it is engaged for sense gratification of living beings, it becomes an acute source of trouble. Our trouble is this sense gratification. So the problem, what is in a purport of Bhagavatam, what is the greatest enemy of the living entity? Okay, mind. What is the greatest enemy of the living entity? Mind, senses. But actually, if you look at it, mind is just some entity. It's the misuse of the mind. Devotee has senses. It's not his enemy. Okay, he mentioned. What? False ego. Okay, you're coming close. The greatest enemy. Yeah, you got it. Cook Prabhu got it. That the greatest enemy is lust. Why? Because this material world is known as Maitunya Agara. Agara means jail or prison. What is tying me? In a jail, we are tied by chains. What is tying me to this world? Now I'm bound here. I'll take birth again. What is tying me? Okay. Philosophical understanding. Sense gratification. Prabhupada said, and it's there, of course, Bhagavad Gita, that the greatest enemy of the living entity is desire to enjoy in this world. That will bring you back. It will make you take birth as a snake, cockroach. It will make you be born in a war where you'll be slaughtered and so much suffering. Why? Because I want to enjoy this world. So that's the greatest enemy. So here, it becomes an acute source of trouble, the last sentence in this purport. That when we take this world for our enjoyment and use this karma, it says it becomes an acute source of trouble. How to stop that? Use everything for Krishna. Result goes to Krishna. Gyajnarthat karmano, work for Krishna. Anyatra loko ayam karma bandhana, otherwise your work will bind you, make you take birth again. Then, what does Krishna tell Arjuna? Tad artham karma kaunteya, work for the benefit of Vishnu. Mukta sangha samaja, you will be liberated in this way. So, technical details here that Narad Muni is telling Vyas. Yes, you spoke about Naishkarma, giving up material, but you did not include the Supreme Lord. So, that is not a good thing, because we will not eventually go to Goloka, we'll come back. If you go to Brahma Jyoti, 1% go back. From there they can go to Vaikuntha, but it's not really free from suffering and disturbance. That's one thing. And you mentioned so much about Karma Kand. So technically he explained, actually Vyas understood in these 4 lines, but we need a purport and deeper analysis to understand this point. Hare Krishna. Question.
That lost also came from mind.
Yeah, so question is that he said that source of trouble is the mind, and I said no, it's lust. But then the point is that lust comes from the mind. Okay, let's say Prabhupada has a mind, but there's no lust.
But he has knowledge, absolute knowledge. That's why he controls that mind.
No, but my point is, mind is not the cause of suffering, actually speaking. Because Prabhupada has a mind, Narad Muni has a mind.
Through knowledge only they can conquer the lust.
True, but the point is the mind is not the issue. The point is misuse of the mind. Now you have a mind. You can decide what to put in your mind. You can decide whether to put teachings of Gita, of Bhagavatam, or some YouTube movie. You can decide. But the mind, for a pure devotee, is his friend. It helps him to serve Krishna. One who became purified, that means he's free from gun. Then the mind, it becomes your friend. And actually its principle is there, that in one purport Prabhupada explains in Bhagavatam, that when one becomes a pure devotee, his mind is not different from Krishna. It's when we say they become one, in the sense that Krishna through the mind he'll understand what Krishna wants, how to serve, everything. In the mind, it helps us to serve Krishna and what to do. So mind that way becomes a friend. Okay, do you understand? Did I answer the question? You said lust comes from mind. Not everyone's mind.
It's like Bhagavad Gita, horses, that 5 verses.
Correct. So the reins, the rope for controlling the horses, that is the mind. So mind is meant to control senses. But for pure devotee, senses are his friend, because through them he's able to see Krishna. It's such a great thing. Pure devotee who doesn't have any lust. With his tongue, he's able to taste Raman, Prasadam, hear bhajan. For him, the senses are a great thing. Mind is also a great thing, because he's sitting now, in his mind is all what he read yesterday in Bhagavatam, and he's relishing. I read that Krishna is so great, what a great thing. Or in his mind is the experience he had when he was hearing the bhajan of Krishna. And that was such a good thing. So, in chapter 6 it's there in Bhagavad Gita, mind can be your friend or your enemy. Mind is not a bad thing, but a material mind is a bad thing. A spiritual mind is a good thing, but we are not even teaching. You'll not hear that, because right now it's such a big problem, we're not even talking about the spiritual mind. But mind and senses and body, it can be a good thing if you're a devotee. You'll use it to serve Krishna.
If you have that knowledge, then it will
Yes, so
be
get the knowledge. Hear Bhagavatam, read Srimad Bhagavatam, read Bhagavad Gita, get the knowledge. Otherwise, mind is, for a person in the beginning of bhakti, he's advised to ignore the mind. Don't make friends with the mind. Previous acharyas explained. The mind and the senses should be treated with great caution. Don't make friends. Just like, why is it that so many restrictions are there between men and women in normal society? Like if a woman's alone, you should not go to the house and speak to her. Or even when sitting, even in the temple, the men and women are separate. Because we cannot trust the senses. Anytime they can do anything. Okay, so in that case, be aware of the mind. When in a conditioned state, don't trust the mind. Mind and senses are compared to snakes. Anytime they'll bite. So you never trust. If a snake is there, get up and leave or chase it away. You can't say, hey, snake is there, I'm here, what's the problem? No, he'll come and bite you. They have that mentality. So when we see a snake, immediately either we get out or chase the snake away. But a cat is not like that. A cat will just sit there. So, yes, you're right in one way. Don't trust the mind. Be careful of the mind. Mind should be like someone, a sadhu. I want to chant whole day and not come for Mangala. Is that okay? Because my mind is saying that, shall I trust it? But I'm not trusting. I'm asking. He's saying, no, you will not. You will think of so many other things.
About karma, you said means if you're doing some yajna, means that karma will later on it will react.
Correct. Yes.
But if you are doing towards Krishna, means many of them doing fruitive activities towards Krishna also. In that point, how karma will that go off or will?
No, then there'll be no karma result, isn't it?
Means for the fruitive activities, they means Govardhan Lila also they did yajna towards Govardhan, towards Krishna. They are doing Indra, means that is
fruitive. Yes.
Like that means for that means bad karma also they are doing some yajnas. They are doing some atonements to rectify.
Prayashchit.
Prayashchit.
Prayashchit, yeah.
But later
it's not
on,
permanent.
that karma will act. Anyways, it will act not in this birth or some other birth it will act. But they are doing towards Krishna means how means this is also same like.
No, it's not. Because Krishna is known as, there's a word.
How to see that differentiation between Krishna and doing because later on it is reacting and in doing Krishna it is not reacting.
And what are you saying that what do we do to Krishna? Because when to Indra they were going to offer everything, but now they offer to Krishna. But that is the point of this creation, everything should be offered to Krishna. And even if you're saying, I am doing it to destroy my sinful reactions, then this is not Shuddha Bhakti. This is Karma Mishra or Jnana Mishra. Jnana Mishra means I want liberation. I'm doing Bhakti to get liberation. So that is Jnana Mishra. But still it's Bhakti, still it's powerful. You'll get a human birth a lot of sins are destroyed, but it doesn't remove the guna fully. Still some reaction will come. When the bhakti shuddha, 100% I'm doing for Krishna only, then, which is rare, it's easy to speak, but it's difficult. So then that is completely, there's no reaction. So even worship of Krishna, but there's some mishra bhakti, mixed desire of my own. And so the whole point is to come to a higher level. Again, this is very rarely spoken among devotees also. It's a difficult concept. But we have to seek out association of people who are on that path and understand philosophy to understand this, to come on that level. On that level, this is what you have to reach to get liberation fully. Yes. Or to serve properly, pure service. Actually, we want to become free from gun. Why? So we can serve Guru properly. And Prabhupada. Otherwise, when gun comes, I want to enjoy, and it creates disturbance with me, with devotees. I have so many desires. But free from desire, I can be a pure servant. And liberation, that's up to Krishna.
You mentioned quoted 2 verses, Yajnata Karma.
Yeah.
And then
Yes, yes.
So this is Karma Yoga.
Yeah, I mean now, yeah.
Means the basic point is whatever we want, I'm doing it for Krishna.
Yes, correct. It is.
And whatever Krishna wants, Guru wants, that we do, that is bhakti. So in Karma Yoga also, Mukta Sangha Samaja, we will become liberated. We will come out of guna but do not get bhakti. Is it like that, or in this way also one can?
Yeah, in the beginning verses, we don't talk about bhakti. In chapter 3, it starts with Karma Kand. That Saha Yagya Praja Sishtva. Then it goes to Anad Bhavanti. We are working to get food. This is Karma Kand. Then it goes to Karma Yoga. That you do your action for him. Niyatam Kuru Karma Tvam. They don't talk about at that level. But if you see Prabhupada's, you see that is there. But Prabhupada, in some ways, he doesn't distinguish between the two. Because a bhakta, he may be fully pure, but he'll be doing his karma, but in pure bhakti without desire, like Arjun did finally. So finally, in the subtle sense, now if we discriminate karma and bhakti, that will be difficult for us. And we can end up committing offense. He's doing his karma, he's doing karma. No, actually, he's free from desire. You know Jayananda, New York. He was working as a taxi driver to raise money to pay for the temple. That was bhakti, that was not karma. But he was engaged in work, but he was giving to the temple. And so we can end up committing offense to think he's doing karma. No, it's bhakti. So in some ways it's a little sensitive. But now the teaching there is there, that Arjun, do your duty because it's your duty, you'll get a good result. Swarga dwaram apavritam, it'll open the doors of heaven. You'll get a good birth. Or you'll get liberation later on. He didn't speak about bhakti.
Even he said Jnanam Prabhu quoted.
Yeah.
So there it is the Guru's order, he's doing it.
Yeah, but we saw that he didn't give up work. He went back to work. And people were working in the beginning of ISKCON. Brahmacharis went to work. There was no money.
No, but the point
there were no
is,
books.
The work, it is given by Guru and he is doing it. So
Yes.
It is, I want to do something, I am doing it for Krishna. It is not that Guru wants something.
Yeah, that is not on the level. Higher than that is Krishna, what do you want me to do? Let me do it. Correct. So is there a question there? That's the comment. Yeah, that's there. That's true. It's a fact.
So in that way, again we will come back here, again we will continue. Till we come to that level, we will not be able to do it.
And actually when we meet people, it even says in Bhagavad Gita that when you meet people, don't tell them immediately, do just what you're doing, you do. Because they have to develop Gyan and Vairagya in order to understand and come to a higher level. Immediately if you take action, then even they'll be disturbed, everyone will be disturbed. So they have to get sufficient Gyan to see the realization, to understand this point. Yeah.
There is also distinguish that 41, then 50% you have to donate, and
Yes.
rest 50% from there you have to save some.
What Rupa Goswami did.
Yeah. So that when doing that karma and earning that money and giving 50%, then that will be that going to be good karma or bhakti also are doing that.
No, you see, that is still, you see, look at that. What is happening? 50% goes to Krishna, the remaining 50% you use for your whatever you need, and the remaining other 50 you save it. Okay? But now that will not go to Krishna in terms of. This is again, you see, you can have a pure devotee. If he's a pure devotee without material desire, he's simply taking food and in his work, his requirements, he's just doing it enough to survive, and the rest he's doing bhakti. That can be pure bhakti. It's possible, but it's difficult. It's not in many cases.
I mean, grihastha have to be keep some money for.
Yeah, they have to. You can have a grihastha as a pure devotee, but this is rare because the temptation, and we are surrounded in ways which are difficult to come to that level. Therefore, finally they say, okay, take vanaprastha. It's there. But there is situation where you can become pure. Anyway, you're saying in that scenario where you give 50% and then this and this, that actually, yes, it is technically possible, theoretically possible to become a pure devotee in the Grihastha ashram, but it's so rare that we have 4 ashrams that finally one has to take vanaprastha, separate from family, wife, children. And Bhagavatam is explained that attachments are so many. It's not only wife, children, but it's my favorite chair, I like to sit here. It says there, sitting places. You know, someone in the house, this is the way I like to sit and enjoy. And attachment to animals also. My favorite horse, my favorite chariot. So many things. But technically it's possible. There is a possibility that even in Grihastha ashram one can become pure. It's difficult but we are surrounded. In order to advance nicely, the rule is 50% you give to Krishna of your earnings. That is a fact.
Another 50% is also he is going to use for his, it is also considered as devotional.
It can be, if his consciousness is simply this, I'm going to buy food, every grain that we need, only that I'm going to do. And the savings, why? Because I may need to hold some house program, I need money for that. You know that consciousness. But if it is I'm saving, I'll enjoy, and I want to, some other, depends on that. Their consciousness. It's very rare. It's rare to be.
Bhakti you have to donate 100%.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur.
Means for bhakti, if you donate 100%, then it will be pure bhakti.
You know, have you read in Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhav, there was one Grihastha, disciple of Bhakti Siddhanta. He used to send his whole paycheck to the Gaudiya Math.
Even Gopal Vishnu Goswami also, I think
he did that?
When he came in the past, he gave all their salary.
He gave, but did he have wife, children?
At that time, yes, I think.
So, this is given in Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhav. He used to give the whole paycheck, then the wife used to come to go, I don't know. So then they'll send back what they need. He'll do that every time. Then one day wife came, took all her jewels, you take that, because the one who is meant for, he's not even looking. He doesn't care. So, and then that time Bhakti Siddhanta said that he is a sannyasi. So you can be like that. He said that this is a sannyasi. Even he's Grihastha ashram, but he. Huh?
That calendar was that he used to. We have to eat a calendar. Daily coat.
Yeah.
Okay. But in that, he also Prabhupada quoted the person who is donating means like 50% is like this. He is more higher than a sannyasi.
Yeah. Even a book distributor Grihastha, Prabhupada said he's higher than a sannyasi. A person who goes out every day distributes books, he's a Grihastha, and because he's eating, his work, everything, of course he'll get profit and he uses for his life. Prabhupada said in a letter, because I doubted this, someone asked me, can I live my life through book distribution? And everyone said this is sinful, this is wrong, but I checked Prabhupada's letter, he said this is glorious. If you live your life by distributing my books, and in the West people do that, because the profit is double of the cost. Here it's a small margin, it's difficult in India. So that is glorious, that somebody is living their life by preaching, getting profit, Prabhupada said he's a sannyasi because he's fully dedicating to preaching and he's not looking to expand his material position, just subsisting whatever Krishna gives. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.